My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video, and we have reached the point in Donald Trump's presidency where we are starting to see the results of Donald Trump's absolutely failed economic policy and the harm that it is doing to the American people. Gone are the days, my friends, where they get to sit back, do nothing but make things worse, and blame Joe Biden for everything that is going on. That Joe Biden, he's doing all kinds of crazy things, because the only way that you actually believe that Joe Biden is the cause of all the economic hardship in America is if you're a dumb bastard that believes everything right-wing propaganda media tells you to believe. Because in America, or in the rest of the world, rather, everywhere, well, this is a weird thing I'm about to say now that I'm saying it out loud. I was going to say, in America, we keep track of all the data so we know what's going on. We used to, until Donald Trump heard bad numbers that he didn't like, and then he started firing people so that they wouldn't report the horrible job that he's doing. But by every measurable metric, my friends, Joe Biden's administration, because I'm not a simp for a president, right? Joe Biden's administration had brought back the economy from the absolute carnage that Donald Trump had caused to it way back when he denied COVID and got 1 million Americans killed and millions more laid off from their jobs. Y'all remember that? That takes a lot to fix that. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of grit to fix that because, well, Donald Trump's a fucking idiot and he kind of screws up everything that he touches, right? But as we know, my friends, a bunch of dipshits are running around in real life and on the internet thinking that Joe Biden caused them all their problems because they would be in a real bad position in life if they spoke out against their cult leader, Donald Trump. So they do the fucking stupid thing, my friends, and they go, this must be Joe Biden's fault. But the point I'm trying to make is those days are fucking over, my friends. Donald Trump is an absolute menace to the economy, destroying fucking everything that he touches, and we are starting to see the results of that. Because as much as a bunch of dummies in our country want to listen to right-wing propaganda and say this was Joe Biden that did this, it was 100% Donald Trump who decided to slap tariffs on every other country. And just in case I didn't say that the right way, in case it wasn't clear, that is a tax on the American people, where we pay more for our everyday goods because Donald Trump is dumb and he hates us and he wants us to go bankrupt. It's all of those things. And Donald Trump was also the one with the failed policy towards immigration, where they just put a quota, but they put a quota on ICE, so that ICE has to go out if they want to keep their jobs, and they have to arrest and detain and what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Deport everyone that happens to fit a certain description so that they can keep those numbers up. And they started deporting people without any due process and regardless of immigration status. People that are completely legal to be in America, hell, they're rounding them up too, my friends. And all of this is absolutely failed economic fucking policy, and we are starting to see the hardship of that. And I know I kind of got a stupid grin on my face a lot of times when I'm talking about the fucking chaos that Donald Trump is causing. It's what they would call a shit-eating grin, my friends. I told you so, you dumb motherfuckers, that this was going to happen. But an I told you so doesn't work in the MAGA movement, because no matter what happens, they're gonna go, this is Joe Biden's fault, because they're assholes and they're dumb, my friends. But we are starting to see the results of all of that. So I was cruising around the internet today, my friends, just kind of minding my business, when I stumbled across a series of videos having to do with farmers in the state of Nebraska that are going bankrupt because of Donald Trump's failed economic policies. And of course, you have to understand, that definitely got my interest. I was excited to find out some more about that. So I did what I always do, my friends. Anytime I see somebody just stitching together videos on the internet, I don't necessarily consider them a reliable source. They're stories I want to cover, but then I go look at them and go, nope, this isn't what I'm looking for. I'll give you an example. There is a trucking company in Florida that is closing. I don't remember how many drivers they they have. And I did see a couple cases of people saying this trucking company is 100% closing because Donald Trump's tariffs. And while that may be true, the trucking industry has been in shambles since the last time Donald Trump destroyed the economy, all the way through the Biden administration and all the way up until this point. The trucking industry has not gotten back on track. And I wanted to cover that story and say Donald Trump's tariffs have closed this trucking company, but the company had said multiple times that they were trying to get through this downturn going on in the trucking industry that, like I said, has been going on since Donald Trump crashed the economy the last time, and they just were not able to pull through. So I wasn't able to put that video together for you guys and say this is about tariffs. And that bothered me because that's what I fucking wanted to do. So the point of that is I don't trust everybody that just stitches videos together. So I went off to the internet to start looking stuff up. And I started Googling like the economic state of farmers in the state of Nebraska, where I found that through multiple sources that this information is actually true. That farmers in Nebraska, well, farmers in America, let's fucking be honest here. JD Vance has an interest in bankrupting America's farmers because JD Vance is, I believe it's part owner, but he has a stake in an app called Acre Trader, where people basically treat your land that's been in your family for fucking generations like it's on the stock market, and they would be so excited for farmers to start losing their asses because that means the wealthy elites and foreign investors can come in and buy up your land really cheap. And that is what JD Vance thinks of you, America's farmers. He wants you to go bankrupt for that very fucking reason. But it is farmers across America that are going through it. But I was specifically looking up Nebraska. I wanted to see what was going on there. And of course I looked up the information, and they say input costs are higher. Now keep in mind, my friends, I am not a I almost said I'm not a truck driver. It's a green screen, my friends. This is all a lie. I made the whole thing up. I'm just kidding. I meant to say I am not a farmer, even though I fucking look like a dumb hick from the country. It's because I am, all right? But I am not a farmer. And so I don't know specifically what inputs mean, but I have to imagine it has to be something to do with maybe the seed or the fertilizer, or even, I don't know if the equipment to do farming would be considered an input, but we can stop at like seed, fertilizer, chemicals, things like that that make the fucking shit grow out of the damn ground. And of course those inputs are up because tariffs have increased the prices on, you're not going to believe this, my friends, fucking everything. Absolutely fucking everything. But of course, another issue going on, of course, those costs are up. And then the price for selling your produce, whatever, when you grow it, has dropped off dramatically, apparently. And they're not able to, I guess corn isn't even break even at this point. They can't even break even on the cost of corn. That's just what I read. If there's somebody that knows more about farming, throw it in the comments. I don't mind learning more. But that's what I read. And who would have thought, my friends, that was going to be an issue when Elon Musk and the Trump administration absolutely destroyed USAID. That was a way for farmers to sell a lot of their produce to the federal government so that they could feed people overseas that were starving. And I don't know what other function food has except to feed hungry people, but they said, no, we don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, I had briefly saw something where the Trump administration is just destroying food because it's rotting, because it's not going out to the places that it used to go to under the programs that America used to have. So obviously the USAID was a big hit to the American farmer. Cuts to SNAP benefits, cuts to school lunches. All of this includes food. Dummies, you fucking dummies. I mean, I don't understand how people bet on their own fucking livelihood and vote for a person that tells them he is going to destroy their livelihood, and then they stand there with a shocked fucking look on their face that they can't believe that their livelihood has been destroyed by the same motherfucker that said he was going to do that thing. So, yeah, higher tariffs, increasing the cost of everything, less and less places for farmers to sell their product to because of the gutting of certain federal agencies, and to the point that we're starving our own school children. That's fantastic. What would Jesus do? probably not that, but you know what? It's fine. Who am I? Who am I to fucking judge and to tell people about their own goddamn bullshit religion that they hide behind while they're starving children? It's not my fucking business. But the other thing, my friends, of course, the other thing we need to know is Donald Trump's failed immigration policies, where they're got their Gestapo police out there rounding up fucking everyone and hauling them off to God knows where, has so much of the workforce in America either detained or deported or fucking in hiding, refusing to come out to work. Well, as we all know, the people that work those fields generally, the field work is done by immigrant labor for the fucking most part. So when you put all of those things together, a farm can't win. Did you guys see that fly? There's a fucking fly in here. I can't get him out. Every time I tried to shoo him out the window, he would fly back in. And then I was sitting here for a while, like, trying to analyze flies' brains, because when you try to push them out a window, they always just turn around, they fly back in. Do flies know that they're inside and they're like, no, I'm staying here, motherfucker, because it's dangerous out there, but if I stay here with you and be your roommate, then I'll be safer here, and meanwhile I'm trying to kill the motherfucker. But this fly lives with me now, is the point. I have a roommate, my friends. I have a new friend, and you know what? I'm just a lonely old trucker and I need a new friend. Anyways, watching these videos, I want to get into some of these videos that I was watching, especially one that really stood out to me. Was a lady from Nebraska that she said her and her husband, I believe she said, were cattle ranchers, but I may be wrong about that. But she had stated that what the fuck am I saying? That her and her husband are getting ready to go bankrupt. Because of Donald Trump's economic policies, they are not able to keep their ranch, which is a huge win for Donald Trump and especially J.D. Vance. Just more land in Nebraska that the wealthy elites or foreign investors can buy at a discounted price because you just went fucking broke. And you look, we tried to tell people, we tried to warn them that this was coming, but they denied reality. They acted like we were the fucking crazy ones, and now their asses are about to be homeless. And I do not feel necessarily any kind of sympathy for that. Yeah, dummy. Like, pay attention. The wealthy con man that has built his life off of defrauding the working class Americans might do the same to you. Like, I don't get it. You know the story about the snake that Donald Trump always tells? Pay attention, fuckers. That was about him. I mean, I don't know what you want from me. But she started talking about all those things. The tariff prices, they can't find any labor, all those fucking things. And as she was saying all the things that led up to this, she goes, God, now that I'm saying it out loud, it really sounds like we voted against our own interest, doesn't it? Yeah, dummy, it does. It sounds like you voted against your own interest. That's exactly what the fuck just happened. And it was cool that, like, she realized it as she was saying it, but I still think she was in somewhat a bit of denial, saying it sounds like we voted against our own interest. But did we really? Yes, you really did, because it's you and your husband that are going bankrupt now, and you and your husband, it's a you fucking problem at this point. And that is kind of where we're at in America, my friends, as we continue to watch Donald Trump's failed economic policies crash one thing after another. The stock market doesn't really respond right now, but I got a feeling it will at some point, and when it does respond, it's going to respond in a very big way. Either the Supreme Court is going to rule his tariffs unconstitutional and he'll stop, which I fucking doubt, or eventually all this is going to catch up and the stock market is going to tumble one day like it did back when George W. Bush was president and fucking damn near crashed the damn thing. But everything else is reacting in a very negative way to everything that Donald Trump is doing. GM's missing their projected profit for the last quarter. Procter & Gamble is laying off. Ford, I haven't investigated it too much. I've just seen you guys mention it, and I looked it up just briefly, but Ford announcing layoffs. And all of this in the interest, my friends, of bringing manufacturing back to America. You remember that lie that we were told about all that? But the point is, getting ready to wrap it up here. There are a lot of farmers all over the country, and especially Nebraska also, that are losing their asses on Donald Trump's failed economic policy. While most of them voted for it, it's something crazy, like 70-80% of farmers voted for Donald Trump. It is hard to feel sympathy for the people that brought this upon themselves, but at the same time, it is also terrifying that there is a land grab done by design going on in America America, and I don't think that the American people will ever get this land back. It is all going to be owned by the wealthy elites in America. There will be no such thing as the small family farm, the fucking what do they call the produce stands, the farmers markets, things like that. It's all going to be a bunch of corporate entities that own all of these things, and in my opinion, the farmers of America gave it away willingly because they heard the shit that he said. He said he was putting tariffs on everything. He said that he was deporting the workforce. Now, I don't believe that he said he was going to starve children on his campaign trail, but I also, knowing Donald Trump supporters, had he said he was going to starve children on his campaign trail, they would have cheered for it. They would have said, yeah, fuck them kids. Donald Trump said they're evil, and I don't like evil kids, and we're going to starve them out, and Donald Trump still would have won the election. So he didn't say all the horrible shit that he was going to do, but he said enough that the people that fell for this shit probably shouldn't have fucking fell for it. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable to me. Anyways, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.